Good morning, everybody. It's time for another delicious edition of Texas Oatmeal. And today we're going to work on the Vanderhall. I've had a lot of requests for people that want me to do an oil change on the Vanderhall and show you how that's done. It's simple. It's just like a regular car. If you look up a Chevy Sonic oil change, it's the same. I mean, for people that own these that maybe haven't ever done their oil, I could see why they need to see this, but it's really that simple. It's the same procedure as almost all, a lot of cars out there. The difference is the oil filter is on top, at least on the Venice that has, or well, really any of them with the 1.4 liter turbo, the filter is right here. You take that off with a 24 millimeter socket, and it comes off from the top out this way. Okay, otherwise you fill here, you check there, and there's a drain plug on the bottom that we're going to get to in a second. So it's really pretty simple, other than the filters on top, which is a little different than some people are used to maybe, but that's the only change, so to speak, and it's really not that big a deal because a lot of cars are designed this way. I'm going to back the car up a little bit to get the ramps up here, put it up on the ramp so I can get underneath there, get to the drain plug, put my container underneath to collect the oil that I'm going to pull out of it, and then throw some fresh stuff in there. So this will be real quick, easy, simple, but yeah, first thing to do, cold start on the 2018 Venice. You've got a nut right here that's on the bottom of your oil pan. You're going to unscrew that. That's going to let the oil drain into here. And yeah, I'll show you the rest here in a second. Alright, so then get in here with your 24 millimeter wrench, which if you have an extension, that would make this part easier. Of all the extensions I've got, none of them fit on this bad boy, because the extension will get you past this hose that you're having to push in real hard. But if you don't, then you just work it small increments until it comes off of there. It should be on super tight, because if you've done this by hand last time, you only hand tighten your oil filter anyways. But yeah, so I've got it pretty loose. I should be able to take this off and spin it by hand. Yeah, which I can. So before you get that off of there, there's going to be some oil in the filter itself. You want to get a rag or something and put it kind of underneath it, so anything you spill gets on the rag and not directly on your engine. You'll probably get some on the engine, but if you can get a rag underneath here a little bit to help from just all of it dripping everywhere, that's going to be good. Okay, so I've got my rag tucked down in there, and I'm just going to start undoing this by hand. I've got another rag ready, so just kind of catch it. So you'll feel it get real loose, and you should be able to just pull it up out of there. Of course, keep in mind that this hose is in the way, so you've got to push this out of the way to get that out of there. So I'm going to set the camera down to do this, of course. So push on that hose real hard, and it will come up out of there. And you can see your pretty used oil filter. And that's what you're looking at down in there. That's what you're looking at down in there. You see just a little bit of it dripped, so I wanted to have that ready so that it didn't get on the engine. There's best I can. It shouldn't be a lot coming out of there. So yeah. Okay, so to get this out, you just grab a hold of it and pull it out of the cap. It has these little tabs that are on the top of it. Those are just kind of clipped into the top of the cap. So that's how you get that out. You just pull it out. You should get a new O-ring with your filter, and you're going to replace the O-ring that's on this one with that new one. Okay, so new O-ring on. You're going to take a little bit of oil and wipe that down so that you've got a little oil on the O-ring itself. Okay, so that's good to go. You can actually go ahead and put this filter back in the car. And so you want to hand tighten this as best you can. Obviously it's hard to get your hand down in here, so if you have to get a wrench on it, obviously go for it. That's what I'm going to do to get it tightened all the way down. But you don't need any real force. Like, you want to pretty much hand tighten an oil filter. But since I can't get my hand in there to get it completely tight, I mean I can, but I'm just barely making any progress. I'm gonna throw the wrench back on there and tighten it down the rest of the way, but just again using just a little bit of force. Don't get to cranking on it. Okay, so after you scrounge around for 10 minutes trying to find your 10mm socket, because of course that's what this is, you get under here and you pop this free and put your glove on, because you're gonna get oil on you. Okay, you just check under here, make sure you're not draining anymore. It's got like a tiny little drip going, but we're gonna call that good. I've just got like a couple little drips coming out of there, but we're gonna call that good. I'm gonna go ahead and put the drain plug back in and clean up underneath here. So I'm putting in Royal Purple 5W30 just because I could get this locally. I didn't have time to wait on Amsoil, so we're about to go on a pretty long trip. But to give you a trick about how to put in oil from this, because this is 5 quarts and you only need 4.2 quarts, you've got a gauge here that says how many quarts you've got. If you back this out and take, basically a quart of this out of the container, you'll have 4 quarts left over, right? So I'm going to take out roughly 1 quart from this. I'm going to put it in just this random thing, this random Tupperware thing I've got. So this will barely hold 1 quart. It's almost perfect. I've used it before, as you can see. I'm going to take out 1 quart from this so that I know when I go to fill up, I don't have to figure out how much I've filled up out of this. I can just pour this whole thing in. So I'm going to take 1 quart, or 0.8 quarts out of this, and I'm going to guess it's not going to be exact. It's going to be pretty close, and just leave that little bit that's left. You can actually see on here 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to go just above this 4 quart line, and then call it good. Okay, so you can see I'm just above the 4 quart line. That guy's pretty full. It's pretty much what I did last time. And so now I know that that's only got a little more than 4 quarts in it. I can pour this whole jug in and I won't overfill the engine. So by dumping that out, since you're good to go and you can pour all of this in there, it also helps if you need to do like 2 hands on the funnel, because I do, because I don't have a funnel, or the way this engine's designed, I can't get a funnel to stand up in here very well. So you could try to pour it straight in, which is probably totally fine, but I'm going to give myself a little extra help and just do it with the funnel. Do it this way so that if I spill any, it goes on my rag. Stop just a touch short just to make sure that if I need to add any, I can, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be right, because again, I've done this once before. It's not super tricky, to be honest. There is a right and a wrong way to put this cap on, evidently. I'm not sure what it is, but I just turn it so that it's always facing me. So you start just a little to the left, turn it, and it just kind of locks in there. You don't crank on it or anything. That should be good to go there. Of course, you check under here, make sure you're not leaking from your drain plug, which I got no leaks, so that's good. So that's it. Once you pour oil back in it, put the cap back on. Again, make sure everything's tight. Make sure you've wiped all the oil off of everything so you're not dripping anywhere, and that you don't have a mess anywhere. You're gonna have some burn off. Anything that did drip on the engine at all, it's gonna burn off. You're gonna get a little bit of oil smell after you start it and get it up to temperature the first time. That should go away pretty quick. You might even see a little bit of smoke. That's normal. So that's it. That's gonna be it for today, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. Watch it look daytime in the night. We bring the vibes here. We full of life, you keep the change. Keep the change.